Before you start watching the video, I have just spoken with Normand. This is the day after I released the video, and he pointed out to me that I made a slight error. So I'll put a link in the top of the video here so you can check that out once you've seen this. It's a small error in terms of where the keyword goes, so just please be aware that I pasted it into the wrong form. Anyway, I'll let you carry on and watch this quick overview. This video will show you how to set up the record history in about 10 minutes. If you haven't seen the interview that I did with Norman a couple of weeks ago, then click on the banner. Otherwise, let's jump in. This is a very simple clients table, and what we're going to do is add a column on the right hand side so we can have a history link to see what updates have been made on this record. So we go into the builder. The first thing we need to do is add a table for all of our record histories to be stored, and you need to add the fields as shown. Now I'll put a link in the video description to this page which gives you more details about the field attributes. There's also a link here to a record history CSV file. If you want to, you can come over to the right hand side and download this file, and that will look like this. It gives you all the field names. Now you can import this as a CSV straight into Knack and create your record history table, but you'll obviously then need to set up the different field attributes. So we'll look at that now. So on my record history table, I've already added all my fields in. Now the fields that I'm showing with an icon here, the field names have to be as shown. There's only 3 fields that you can customize really, which is the auto increment. You can call that whatever you like. The date timestamp the same, and who added it. This is a connection to the accounts section. So just to run you through these, the auto increment, there are no parameters to set on that. That's just a sequential number. The log ID is a text formula, and we're using the auto increment and concatenating it with the word HIST underscore just to give it a unique reference. Now you can use anything you like as the prefix. It doesn't have to be HIST underscore. It mustn't contain any spaces or illegal characters. It is important on the record history table in the settings to set the display field to the log ID, and the sort order should be the auto increment set high to low. The next field is a standard date timestamp, so just set this up with your preferred date format to the current date, your preferred time format and the current time, and that will obviously create as a timestamp. The next field is a connection to the accounts object, so if you're not familiar, simply click on add a connection, go to your accounts object, save that, and then rename it to added by or logged by. Once again, you can call this whatever you wish. This will just track who made the edit. The next field is a status field with 5 different types. Currently we're going to be looking at the updated. There's no other options you need to select in these fields. None of these fields are required or unique. The user will not be interacting with them directly. We then need 2 short text fields, one called context and one called identifier. I'll circle back and explain those in more details. We need a paragraph text field which will actually show us the changes, a short text field called object name, another short text for your record ID, view ID, and then 3 link fields set up as shown. Inside the settings, set them to open in a new window and set the format to use the same text for all links, and the link text set the same as the name of the field. So we have app URL, builder URL, and history URL. Then our last field is for the expiry of this particular record history, and we want to set this up with your preferred date format but a no default date, and then your preferred time but no time. So that's all our fields set up to be able to track record history across our application. So if we go into the pages section and look at my clients page, this is the clients page where I want to track my record history. So if I click on the page and go to settings, and I'll put this in the description, this is the KTL keyword that will run the record history. Now it may look a little bit complicated, but I will explain it. It's pretty straightforward. The first few characters where it says underscore VRH stands for view record history. So view record history equals, and then we have 3 sets of parameters in square brackets. The first set of parameters aren't actually required because this word history will be the name given to the column on our live app. So if I go back to here, this column on the right hand side, we're set in what the label will be called at the top. So it will be called history. And then this is set in what type of icon it will be. So we're using the icon FA-history. Now if you decide to, you can remove this parameter completely, and that will be its default anyway. But I wanted to put this in, so if you want to give it a different title, you can. And if you want to use a different icon, you can also do that. The next set of parameters are using ktlRoles. In this case, I'm allowing only developer and or admins. So you have to have either a developer role or an admin role to be able to see the column for the history icon. The last parameter just aligns the icon to the center. So I'm going to save that. We then need to add some pages. So our first page sits behind a login. Give permission to all users. Very important that this name is the same throughout, because KTL will be looking for view record history. So we need to add a grid, and the grid will be showing our record history table. And we just set it to show all record history. Don't need any links, and we need to change it here so the view name is view record history. Now notice that's changed here, but there's record history is here. So I need to go into settings, scroll down and change it here. I'm now going to remove my auto increment column, so I have my log ID, my timestamp, who added it, the status and the context. So I just want to add in the identifier and the changes, and I'm going to save that. Click on the table, go to settings, scroll down and change to do not allow records to be filtered. Save. I'm now going to add another page, which once again sits behind a login, and we will give permission to all users. And this page will be called Add Record History. Once again, I'm going to copy that, add my page. It's going to be a form that adds a new record, and we'll add a new record to the record history table. And it's important to change it to show record history connected to the logged in account, so we know who actually did the update. Click on Continue. Add record history is fine. Add the form. On the add and remove, add all the fields. Go into settings, and then we just need to put in the KTL shortcode, which once again I'll put in the description. This has the keyword _ARH, which is add record history. And we have a couple of parameters. The context is a tag. So on this particular form, we're going to say this is editing clients. And I'll go through this in more detail as we do the series of these videos. The next parameter is setting the expiry date to 90 days in the future, so we can then manage the deletion of these if we need to. So click Save. Now if I go back to my live app and do a refresh, both of those two pages will be visible, and we want to hide them. So you can see here I have a table which will show all of view record history and one that adds them. So what I need to do is just add a drop down menu, put those two into it, and I'm going to call it invisible menu. Add that page, and now if I collapse those, they're both inside that invisible menu, and I'm then just going to go into the settings and untick the box that says include this in the page menu. So now if I go back and do a refresh, I'm just going to go back onto my clients page. I currently have these two pages. When I do my refresh, they will also be hidden because they sit underneath the hidden menu. So if I've done this all correctly, I obviously have a developer role in my accounts object. So if I click on the history icon, I get the history table. So I'm going to make an update. I'm going to click on Boris Johnson, and I'm going to change number 10 Downing Street to number 11 Downing Street and submit that. And if I look at my record history, I can see I have history number 1, which is a concatenation of my auto increment, a date time stamp, the logged in user, it was an updated status, my context was the edit client, my identifier is my client's name, and then here is the address field from my client's table, which is field 7, and it was 10 Downing Street, is now number 11. So this field 7, just to quickly show you that, if I go into my data and my clients and put on the key fields, it's coming from here, field number 7. So let's just do another edit. I'm going to change the phone number from 77 to 76. And once again, that because we have it sorted ascending, I have history 2. Before it was 77 and now it's 76. So I do another one and I'm going to add in a file. So I currently have a file called guide to clipping PDF. I'm going to change that to terms of business. So let me just drop that on and submit that and click on my history. And you can now see here, before it was the guide to clipping and now it's the terms of business. So at a high level, that's how simple it is and how quick it is to start to be able to track your record history. In the next video, I'm going to be going into more detail of some of the customization, but that's it. So hopefully that all makes sense. Please do give us a like and a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel and obviously Norman's, because Norman is the person that put all the hard work into doing this. And I'll catch you in the next one.